I have to ask this because you've had you had a pretty crazy, like I've seen your post where you had crazy psoriasis on your legs. And I
Yeah.
think this is kind of like how the heart and soil stuff came into your awareness as well when you started to think about like the power of diet potentially. I'm curious, firstly, I want you to tell that story and what was going on. And did that ever impact your fight career as well or your training career?
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, as long as I can remember, probably 4 years old, 3, 4 years old, I remember getting plaque psoriasis on my shin, one shin. And it started off, like the size of a silver dollar. And I didn't know what it was. Like being a wrestler, I just thought it was ringworm, and
Mm,
I was always putting ringworm medicine on it, but it would never go away. And just, over my life started getting bigger and bigger, and then it jumped over to my other shin, and then started growing bigger and bigger. Um, and shoot, by the time I was probably 8, I had it from ankle to knee on both shins. And then it started spreading like through high school and college. I started getting it all over my scalp, my ears, little spots here and there all through my body. And then it just started getting worse and worse and worse. And I going to dermatologists, I think I went to my lifetime probably 4 or 5 different ones. And every single one of them would tell me that diet has nothing to do with plaque psoriasis. And there's nothing, because I would specifically ask, like, are there things that I should stay away from in my diet that might, because I know, like I knew there were certain things that I would eat that would immediately start making it itch. And in my
mm,
mind, I'm like, that's probably like aggravating it, I would imagine. I don't know if that's making it grow more, but it's definitely making it itch more. So, but every time they would almost get like irritated that I even asked that and would say, nope, like diet has nothing to do. There's no scientific evidence that shows diet has anything to do with it. But we can prescribe you a shot, and they're really expensive, and they're really hard on your liver and your all your organs, and you have to do it like monthly. Or we could give you this cream or these pills, and it's always trying to prescribe me something, and I'm like, I don't want to have to take anything for the rest of my life. Like, I don't want to have to do that for something that's on my skin that is going to destroy my liver or something. Like, I'll just deal with the skin thing. So they're always like, okay. And through my fight career, I mean, it started getting really bad. Like, I would more feel bad for my partners than anything. I would always have to wear like leggings because, if you're wrestling, a guy's hanging onto your leg
right.
and there's like psoriasis rubbing all over his face, I would just feel so bad. But man, it would get pretty bad, like so bad that it would start bleeding. Like I would scratch it till it was bleeding down my leg, and same thing on my arms, elbows, and stuff like that. And and then you get your sweat, the salt in it, and it would just be on fire. And so it definitely wasn't anything debilitating, but it wasn't comfortable by any
Right.
means.
Right.
Very annoying. And oh man, it was probably 5 years ago. Um, it got to the worst point in my life that I'd ever had it. And I've posted pictures of this stuff. Now those are kind of the before and afters that I've posted, but I started hearing Dr. Paul Saladino and Dr. Sean Baker. And I saw them on Rogan's podcast. I know Rogan has, I think, vitiligo,
Yeah.
where autoimmune, where it attacks the pigment in your skin. And I had a buddy, Scott Jorgensen, that actually has that same thing, and
Yep.
his entire body is now white. But I started hearing more and more about these diets that could help it. But in my mind, I was like, I can't cut out carbs, all carbs, because I'm an explosive athlete. Like I need glycogen stores, I need this. So I never put too much into it. And then I always just ate oatmeal. Like it was always taught my whole life, like oatmeal is great. It's a great carbohydrate source. Like, it's healthy for you. And I think oatmeal, out of all the things that I ate, irritated it and made it the worst.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and I didn't know that until I completely cut it out. But, I got to the point where I retired, was done in 2018. And my buddy's wife had Crohn's disease. And he came to me, he's like, dude, she's been on this. She went strict carnivore and it is completely gone. He's
Mm-hmm.
like, I think you really should try this for your psoriasis. And this was the point in my life where it was like the worst. And I'm just like, coming back from hunts where my sleep's not consistent,
Yeah.
eating crappy food, just running myself into the ground, and it was just getting super inflamed and dry and flaky and itchy, and So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try this. I'll try it for a month. I'm going to try strict carnivore and just see what happens. If there's any type of improvement, then I'll look into doing this more. But if not, I'm just going to go back to doing what I normally do. And within like a week, it was already night and day different. And I just went meat, eggs, dairy, and seafood. Like no carbohydrates at all, other than a little bit in the dairy. Um, and for me, it was more just like thinking, okay, elimination. I just
Hmm.
want to like cut out and see if this is like a reset and see if it helps. But like I said, within a week, it was already night and day better. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to keep doing this. 3 weeks, it was like really noticeable. And by like a month or two, it was like almost gone.
Wow.
And so I just kept doing that. I did carnivore, I think, for 4 months strict. And then after the 4 months, it was pretty much gone. And I just slowly started adding in fruits again, honey, um, obviously the raw dairy. That
Hmm.
was kind of something at that point started to become more readily available. Like it wasn't really a thing that we could find,
Yeah.
5 years ago. I feel like it was hard to find. So now switching everything over to raw as much as I can. Um, I'll use maple syrup, real maple syrup from time to time to sweeten things. But yeah, cutting out all seed oils, most grains. Like even right now, I'll still add in every once in a while some organic white rice, and I'll even do some organic potatoes from time to time. But for the most part, it's all fruit and honey for my carbs. But cutting out seed oils, any processed sugars, and then most grains has, I mean, my psoriasis is, I'd say 99% gone. Like I'll get a little bit
Hmm.
still like right behind my ears, which I notice pops up if my sleep more
Yeah.
at this point, it's just if I don't get 8 hours of sleep for multiple days in a row, that's when I start seeing it getting a little inflamed right behind my ears. But other
Yeah.
than that, like it's gone on my entire body. Like it was really bad. And so for me, I'm one of those things that I put myself into that test realm where it's like, hey, I'll
Yeah.
be the guinea pig when I don't have to rely on competing at the top at a high level. So if I feel like crap, I'm not too worried about it, but I'll be the test dummy here. Obviously, it works. Like I have other buddies with autoimmune diseases, and I've basically shared with them any knowledge that I've learned over the last 5 years and try to help and tell them like what to do. And I've seen so many improvements by doing that. It's crazy to think that dermatologists or some of these doctors are taught that diet has nothing to do with any of these
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
things that you got. I just don't understand it. But I mean, I'll straight up tell you like I know that's a lie because I've
Yep.
done it. I can show you before and after and what it looked like and what I've done and also how I feel like. So yeah, man, it's a pretty crazy story. And so going into the heart and soil side of it, obviously following Paul and seeing him grow these brands. And I truly believe that Paul is the type of guy that is trying to grow the health of America. I don't think this is a guy that's just like super selfish and just wants all the money in the world. Like I don't see that in him. I know he's making money on these, but he's trying to create brands and products that should be things that we're eating and
Right.
consuming, have a benefit and a purpose. And it's opening the eyes of all of us in America and realizing what we are eating and what we are doing on the daily is completely poisoning us. And there's so many things that we have been taught to be normal and healthy. Like I think back to my college days and like I took nutrition, but my major was kinesiology. And my nutrition classes, like I specifically remember the teachers telling us, don't eat butter. Animal fats are bad for you. Eat the margarine. You want to eat these oils are heart healthy. I specifically remember them
Yep.
saying that. And it's
Yep.
like now we're learning that that's all BS. And so I really look up to Paul. I love what he stands for and what he's doing. And my family is now on that lifestyle and we'll never go back. I have tons of people in our circle now whose families are on that train and are never going back. And it's like, it's pretty cool to see this movement that he's created. And like I said, I truly believe that he's doing this for the good.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's physical evidence, me being part of that evidence. Other buddies of mine, my buddy's wife who came off of it, just sticking to a diet. There's different buddies of mine that have had different autoimmune diseases or other things that have been completely cured and gone because of diet change. It's like, how can we overlook this and how can we not think that this is something that is real and believe all the other stuff? Like there's physical proof right in front of you these days. So I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. I can go on about this forever. So
Dude, it's amazing. And like we've got a 110 almost episodes of the podcast right now, and probably 90% of them wouldn't be possible unless somebody like you had broken all the rules and reversed their health and are now taking positions that are like, yeah, actually, the world we live in, the way in which we live in, the food that we're eating is highly sick, highly poisoned, and by breaking all the rules, you can actually become healthier. And it also is encapsulated in this cultural moment of, make America healthy again, and people having these stories, because when you have a story like that, and this one landed close to home for me because my mom, I watched my mom the entirety of my childhood grow up with crippling psoriasis to the point where she like wouldn't want to go out and be seen. It was really bad all over her arms. And now she's the same, man. It's gone. It's gone through dietary and lifestyle changes. She had the same story. This one was just in the UK. No, diet doesn't do anything. Here's a cream, here's a lotion, here's a potion. It's wild, man. All right, friends, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Radical Health Radio. We got a fresh new podcast for you every Wednesday. If you enjoyed the show, consider liking, subscribing, reviewing, and rating us on your podcast platform. It helps to spread this message of radical health. We'll see you next week.